Watch that. There's a red wasp right. Ooh.
Well, I keep telling my wife they won't hurt you if you leave them alone.
Well, you're like right next to it in your last step.
Where is he?
He's headed over there to right in front of the blue.
And bumblebees are great. Mm-hmm. They will not hurt you.
Hey, Willie.
That's too much trouble. That's too hard.
I didn't even recognize the truck. I was just zoned out. You know, I got my stop this morning.
Yeah?
And it wipes me out. It just took everything I took all after me.
Well, I've never had this.
Well, they told me if I have to have open heart surgery, I could have this in this time.
Brittany the only one with a key?
Through this stuff.
Yes, we can.
We don't have to have the others.
Yeah, they're worthless anyway.
Richard's
I'm
at
gonna
a
get
birthday
myself
party.
in trouble one of these days.
Sandy's sisters.
I think Richard's son's birthday. Are you coming in?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes, sir.
What are you doing?
I'm videoing. Oh.
Get out of here. Oh. too hot for old people.
Uh-huh.
Too hot for anyone.
Yeah.
We left here to the air so we can all be together.
Together? Together. Again.
I got a quick question. Tomorrow's the 20th. If I drop in the drop box, you're fine. I won't. I was like, yeah. I won't. I don't do that Monday. I kind of figured since it's a Saturday.
You always like the attention, don't you? That's what I figured.
Into the table, good stuff.
Whew.
Give him the squeaky seat.
Tahlequah. Lyons, Colorado. Brownsville, Texas.
These are
Carroll, Texas.
policy and procedure
Handbooks.
handbook.
Yeah. Employee handbooks. Does she have our employee handbook?
No, she's making a copy. We're really having a hard time with our printer.
The new one? What's it doing?
I don't know.
It's a printer. Printers are the most unreliable piece of equipment.
They are awful. Awful.
I still have that commercial printer copier that needs a motherboard.
So the old one that we have works. We ordered a toner for it. It's on the way. It's been on the way for a week. We had Larry Gray come up last week and fix the new one, and he did. Everything worked great when he was there. He just got everything boopity boopity boop. Everything was fine.
The minute you shut the door.
The next day, I printed out some reports from QuickBook, and it printed 50 copies, and it had all like those hieroglyphics on it, or like all
Yeah.
the little codes. Yeah, on the new printer. It didn't even print anything. Yeah. So I don't know. I gave up. But then I reset everything, and then it seemed to be going okay. If we have stuff from the printer, we can generally get it, but making copies, it's just, we'll get it. We're still working with it. It's hot in here.
I get these spots, see, on my skin,
Yeah.
and they just itch.
What kind of raised spots?
No, under, they said that because of the blood flow, my veins are just the little tiny ones, my capillaries,
Yeah.
are just popping. And then they itch, and then it goes away.
They pop but it doesn't destroy them.
No,
Okay. Who knows?
It's not allergies.
no, the COVID vaccine destroyed the valves in my heart. And, so I'm slowly falling apart. At 58 years old. I'll know next Friday if they're gonna do a valve replacement surgery now or they're gonna wait. The insurance requires that you wait until almost failure.
Jeez.
Well, that makes
Draw them
sense.
up and let you fix it before it's environmental cycle.
But I've gone from February of 22 at low moderate on my valves to last month I'm at severe. So, but they gauge severe. There's the bottom of severe and then there's the top of severe. And insurance won't pay at the bottom of severe. You have to pay. Which is so stupid.
tested positive for COVID.
I don't stink too bad.
I only got 2 copies of the original. Or of the, whatever this is called. Those are copies that I had, this is ours.
This is the original?
Yep.
Okay, so you don't wanna mark that all up.
Oh, no, that's not the original's over here, but that's,
Okay.
yeah, that's a copy of ours,
Okay.
our current one.
Some light reading.
We redid this since,
This is an agenda for there.
Thank you.
Yep.
I was telling Rocky, I did some looking into it and made a couple phone calls. We can have the meeting, we're not taking any votes, so we don't have to have a quorum.
That's what I thought when.
The quorum has to be only when we vote.
Yeah.
So, you wanna get started? Or you wanna wait for another 5 minutes?
Let's get started. You're looking at Brownsville and, who is this? Tahlequah.
Yeah.
Their intro is shorter than ours. But our, looks like they're at an 11 and we're at a 12 or 13 on our font. So, not by much. The policies in this handbook are designed to serve as guidelines. The policies and procedures in the manual are designed to serve as guidelines.
Do we need to call the meeting to order, the work session?
Probably.
Alright, Town of Tryon Board of Trustees work session. Do we have a recorder on?
Yes. it's on.
Okay. Town of Tryon Board of Trustees work session, July 18th, 2024, 5:45 PM, First Baptist Church, 122 North First. Agenda call to order. Number 2, roll call.
Rayleigh here.
Rocky here. Number 3, consideration and discussion on the employee handbook. When's the last time this was updated? August 14th,
Yeah, that was-
2019?
Yeah. Yeah. So big on employee handbooks.
Yeah.
We have to sign one every year. There's a line in this one that I like.
And this one,
Yeah.
that's for,
This one is Brownsville, Texas. I didn't bring the highlighter.
When they go back on the back page, there's some post-its.
Look at the bottom of the black hole here. Got a good jail pin. Oh, sorry.
Okay. It says employment with the city, percent have to be changed to town. Employment with the city may be terminated at any time with or without cause by the city or employee.
because we're at will
Yeah,
state.
that will right. Which I'm surprised in a Texas handbook they have that, because Texas is not that little.
They're not saying.
Other than that, I don't see anything wrong. We had this done by the attorney. Do you see anything wrong with the front page?
I don't think on the front page. Most of my concerns or issues is just there, I believe it's in here, there's no like job descriptions for the utility, operator. Some of the stuff just needs to be updated.
Policies and procedures. Alcohol and drug-free workplace. Sexual harassment. Employment requirements.
This may be something that we have to do, a little at a time for. I think we're probably just gonna read through it, everybody read through it and look at it, and see if it needs to be updated, like each section needs to be updated. I need to look further into the FLSA stuff, cause I don't know, there's a couple of questions I have on that. I know the work hours and the scheduling with how our book is set up and how our payroll system is set up. I think that's where some of our in-house 6 years ago that they've made their own setup in payroll for vacation time that they're accruing each payroll. There's like 7 different things that they've done. I just need assistance with getting that actually legal and how it's supposed to be. Other than just some of the verbiage in there. And another utility department don't have anything in here on like duties, responsibilities, maybe even update the like what they're entitled to when they get hired, like the uniform allowance or stuff like that. I don't think those are utility department period. We need to add a code enforcement section. in there in this as well.
I would like to, both Meridian and Central Tech used to offer OSHA classes. And it was never in the handbook. But once the operator was licensed, we put them through OSHA training, at least for confined spaces. I know there's a place in Cushing, 25.8, but I think Knapp's pretty expensive. I'm not sure.
But I figure too, we can maybe look through the other packets that Lex put it off and see if there's anything in there that we can adopt on our side, that maybe they're covering something that, even if it's a bigger town, that they're covering something that we could adopt on our end that would help us.
This one has, does that one have compensation and benefits on it? This one does.
The administration, employee benefits.
Be a good place.
The administration, employee benefits.
Okay. Okay, so that is Talcott,
Oh, yeah.
and this one comes over under compensation and benefits. Here's pay plan. Okay, so where is hours? Payday. Paychecks are issued on the 15th and the last day of every month. Did that change?
We've been paying on the 15th and the 30th, unless it lands on a weekend.
At that point, there needs to be a C. Are you looking at yours?
On which one are you looking at? I may be ahead of you.
On ours.
No, on ours, not what page are you on?
Payday 306.
Okay.
Personal debts and garnishments, which is 211, needs to be moved to that section there. Right? That's when it's taken care of. Section 211.
So would that, would 211 become, C?
So what you said was comp time. and vacation, right?
Yeah, that's an addition.
Okay. So. Comp time is page 36. That is not comp time. Leave time, holidays, floating holidays, vacations, sick leave, military leave, administrative leave, leave of absence without pay, jury duty, family medical leave.
I have noticed too that, like, if we're gonna like retype it, like as we update it or whatever, there's,
Yeah. It's,
the numbering is kind of messed up too.
yeah. I think when Anthony did it for us, he didn't renumber it. Okay. Lyons, Colorado. Has paid time off and how it's accrued. You want to look at that one? This one would be under vacation 44. And where's our vacation in here written?
I think it's on like 503. No, it's 501.
Well, I'm not in agreement with Brownsville, because Brownsville says that you can take your vacation time after your probation time.
Yeah, I'm trying, the current one that we have gets updated here.
Yeah. And what are we missing on it?
I think probably just for some better clarification over, like for example, like him, for like her job position,
Mm-hmm.
it just needs to be clarified, like exactly what like her job position is compared to what, like is she considered full-time, is she part-time, is she, I know she's working way more hours than part-time, like she was never on their hire date, nobody was ever said, like, you're considered part-time or you're considered full-time. It's usually just stated, like what we're hiring them at. And then with how your payroll is set up, that's a mess on its own, because of, like I said, the vacation and the accrual time. That's not even matching up to even what is in here.
So how do they do it? We've gotta know that before we
Yeah.
adjust this.
I know that Jared Prickett had his set up that, like, after 4 years, he gets 10 hours of vacation time every 2 weeks. And then,
You know what?
10 hours of vacation time every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And
This
then
one gets
Jessica
10
and
hours a
Candace
month.
was set up.
Jessica,
And Candace set it up for, yeah. Jessica and Candace was set up at a certain amount of time, like they have it in increments of like after the first year, and they've got them labeled differently, like it's not like regular like part-time vacation after a year or whatever, it's JP vacation time or Jessica Turpin vacation time. Like it's actually like listed in there under your vacation time, but it doesn't, and it's like 7 to 10 hours every 2 weeks that they were accruing of their vacation time.
well, you would take, because we allow for 1 week per year for the first year, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
So you would take that 12, how many pay days do we have, 26?
24. Kind of depends, 24.
Well, if you're paying bi-weekly, it's
Yeah.
26. Paying somebody monthly, it's
See, and that's another thing too, that's, some is set up as semi-monthly and some is set up as bi-weekly on there. That's why the whole thing is jacked up, and it's not, even when you do click on what vacation time that they have on there, it's not accruing, it's not like correctly fixing it. Like, and I'm on, I've already set up 2 meetings with your payroll that they're supposed to get with me to completely redo it, but I wanna get ahead on this before I have a meeting with them. So that I know that what page we're on, so that when we go set it up with them.
Well,
And
if
then
we're
like after
doing,
the year, like who's part-time, who's full-time, who's exempt, who. Because none of that was stated, like I don't know, I'm not making that decision, cause that's not my job to like put those labels on each other's, of our positions. But like that needs to be straightened out as well, and then like after
Do you
the
have
year. Of what? Like the short
a
term?
notebook to start a list for the
Yeah.
agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, what would it be labeled? Determine employee status
Yeah, that's what I would put.
of each employee.
Yeah.
So
And
you
then like
have to
after
have
each-
it on both sides.
Yeah. And
I
then
have
we'll
my
have,
brain here.
and then we'll have to figure out like after a year, like does like their vacation time accrue like the increments, like what's the increments that it's gonna accrue after each year of employment.
I thought we calculated that, and that's what this is. Right here.
On what page are you looking at?
Page
Oh, what
500, there's a
501.
chart in there, because, Karen Bates sat and calculated it.
I don't recall that conversation, but that was like 6 years ago, so I'm not like,
Yeah.
I don't think this has been updated since I've worked here.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Are you feeling like doing math?
I can do some math.
multiply that number times
So
12
would Kim be
and
considered
see
a
how many
permanent part-time?
days you would come up with. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So is Kim's position considered a permanent part-time?
Where does it say that?
E, on 501 EA. It says in their first year of service, employees will accrue 1 week of vacation per year, which will equate to 25 hours. And it's 1.042 hours per pay period for permanent part-time employees and 40 hours for full-time employees and exempt salaried employees.
I don't see where you're reading that.
That's fine.
It's 501, like under 501 E, little a, mid-page, towards bottom.
I can only tell you what it was from 2006 to 2011. And that is the utility clerk, even though didn't receive full-time hours, because sometimes they did, was considered full-time. That's all I can tell you. I think it was an implied statement. I don't think it ever just flat out said that position is full-time. Because it's always been, city hall hours are from 9 to 2, but the utility clerk may end up working from 8 to 4, or
Yeah. That's kind of where that is where the confusion's coming from, because I don't think me or Kim, either one of us, since the day we started working, has ever worked just a 9 to 2. And we're always here.
Did
at
Wednesday.
least-
Because I was
That one day.
exhausted.
But I think that's probably where we need to start, is to figure out like what each employee's like employment status is, as far as like is there what the books are considering them, and then
so under that employee status, put in parentheses, full-time / part-time, and then that'll go on the agenda. And then we can have this discussion with the rest of the board members.
Okay.
So what was the next part? But on those,
I think
before we
that's- I
move
think that's
on,
our
do you
biggest one.
see, before we move on, it goes from 1 week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks.
Uh-huh.
If you look at that, the first year, it's calculated at 4.16 days, 0.416 day a month. So half a day, a little less than half a day a month.
Yeah, 5 days.
And then the next one doubles. And then the next one doesn't. No, it goes up a third more.
Yeah.
So, do you see how that would be correct moving up?
Yeah.
Because I remember having this conversation when Karen was here, because she was concerned about it at that time, because that was one of the main concerns, because Jessica had come with wanting a month of vacation time and she wanted it paid. Okay. What else about vacation were you concerned about?
I don't think it was more on vacation, that was just kind of the end of the deal. I think just with how things are set up, it just needs to be set up correctly. We need to figure out what each employee's like actual status is considered. Because once we understand the employment status of like what they're like labeled or whatever you want to call it, that will help clear up some of our problems on like how it needs to be allocated or whatever.
Okay.
That thing. I think that's the biggest problem out there.
So on section 305, why is mine so out of order?
That's how the book is. I have no idea. It sounds like missing.
You go to section 305. On Part C. That's quoting the open hours of City Hall, but not the actual hours you guys put in. So somehow we would have to, in that, make a statement that office personnel are considered full-time employees. You see where it says Part B,
Yeah.
full-time salary?
So that's not on an hourly basis, right?
We would have to change it to full-time salaried or hourly. And then I think on Part C, you could take for part-time, hourly, take out office and utility and just put personnel. The standard work week for part-time hourly personnel will be 25 hours.
So take out office and utility this week, so.
Uh-huh. I don't see that we need that, do you? Part D. We have changed
Monday through Wednesday.
No, because it says that you still have to work Thursday, which you guys are still working. But we changed that for the utility operator from 9 to 5, all 5 days. So it would be I guess that would stay the same because it's talking about office hours, right? It's kind of confusing. Read it out loud.
The City Hall and the Public Works Authority will maintain operating hours from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday. I think if it's left worded like that, that's like, will maintain operating hours. Like he's still operating as his
Okay.
job position after that.
But those are two different things, right? The city hall and the public works.
They're
Right.
two different entities, yes. But then that would also, how it's worded would also mean like Kim would have to be there until 5. If it's with the Public Works Authority,
Right,
that would also cover her.
so we'll just leave it as is.
Would it be good to differentiate the utility service from the office? So the office hours are this, but the utility service hours are this.
Well, that would leave the utility operator only working Monday through Thursday.
Well, that's why
Or
it's separated
Monday
out.
through Friday.
That's why it's separate out. It's separate.
I'm gonna dog-ear this page so it's easy to find. Easier to find.
So on D, should we?
So does yours go from section 401, 403?
Yes, so
to
like
501?
Yeah.
Okay, so we do need to renumber those. I did not see anywhere there.
Do you have a digital copy?
Because this is where one of the problems that is not in there is the like when the utility operator works until 3 o'clock in the morning.
There's nothing in there stating about how he, to like adjust his hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be under comp time? Cause he doesn't get overtime, so he would be compensated for his time, so that would be a part of the 35, 40 hours that he works.
Right.
So you just get a day off or something?
Overtime pay is stated correctly. Okay, what else did you say, Brittany? Oh, mileage.
Yeah. That's what's written. I don't think as far as the mileage, I don't think that really needs to be like, that's what they're adjusting. I think there just was a question about like with her running the tests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you guys already approved that, so she's so different, so.
Sick leave. How are we accounting for sick leave through Sure Payroll?
Sick leave is set up just like vacation time. They've done the same thing with sick leave that they did with vacation.
So 12 days a year of sick leave.
Regardless of longevity. Well, that's not right either.
It's what teaching gets. We get 10 days a year, no matter how long we've been there, plus,
When you're on probation,
plus 3 personal days. Yeah,
plus 3. No, that's fine with me.
Yes, Mayor.
that's it. That's just standard. And that's across states. It didn't matter whether here or in New Mexico, that's just standard. Date of employment and accumulated rate. So when you enter it into Sure Payroll, how do you enter it?
It's in Sure Payroll, it's just click because it's automatically set in there. So like once you put fill out like all their new employee information or whatever,
Uh-huh.
they ask you questions, you just answer those questions.
Okay,
And then it
so
pulls up what's in their system.
I'm working and I take a sick day.
You go in there and you click that they're wanting to, you have to like edit the line item
Uh-huh,
and mark how much, that they're taking.
okay.
But that's why I have to get a hold of Sure Payroll too, because we have to, I don't wanna say it's like a Zoom or whatever, but it's like a step by step. There's not like Paycom where they can like come, like take over the computer and do it, like for you, like walk you through it.
Okay, on 502 G. Second sentence says, if the employee leaves under good standing and give the proper, can we correct the grammar and put gives?
On which one? 502G?
502G, second sentence. If the employee leaves under good standing and gives the proper 14-day notice, then the town board of trustees may elect to pay the employer 10 days of sick pay. If they give good notice and they've used 8 days, but they only have 2 days, the way this reads,
Then we have to
They
get
get
it
the full 10,
Yeah.
so
up to 10,
up to 10,
depending on how much that remaining.
Right.
Based
because
on
you can
remaining-
accrue up to 90 days. So I would put where it says on that last line, town board of trustees may elect to pay the employee up to. Okay, the next one, funerals. The first 24 hours, am I reading this right? The first 24 hours is paid, and after that, they have to take sick leave?
Wouldn't that be bereavement leave?
bereavement leaves usually up to 4 days. It's like immediate to me.
Yeah, right here. It is 503, right under sick time. Do we also have bereavement in there?
Do we? We don't have that, do
This sounds like it'd just be for travel to a funeral.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, employees' immediate family, you're gonna give them a day?
You've grieved enough, get back to work.
Yeah, get over it, right?
Suck it up, Buttercup.
That's not much.
We get 4 days. Teachers get 4 days. After that, have to take sick
It
leave.
does say in the event of a death in the employee's immediate family, a maximum of 3 standard work days. Leave will be
Where's-
paid to the employee.
Where's that?
503A,
I don't have a B.
it's on A.
503A?
My 502 was reading differently than yours as well.
Okay, wait, there's,
But it's right under funerals.
okay. Now, what section did you say?
503 on the funeral section on A.
Yeah, I said, that's what I read you, was in the event of the
Yeah.
employees.
Hers is reading different for some reason.
Yeah, because mine reads like.
Is yours an older copy? Reading.
No, it says it's revised on the same day. See, my other one read differently than that one too.
There's B.
See if this is it. See, this one I can tell is different right here because the font is different. I don't know what's going on with this.
So we have to decide one or the other which one we're going off of.
I don't know why this is so different.
Which one did you copy?
I copied this whole thing for you guys. The exact same thing. I literally pulled this out for me and copied it.
Well, show me here what you're reading.
Yeah, barely 2 sentences here.
Because I don't have to, on the back side.
Where is that? Yeah, that looks like that's on the other. Yeah, this is one that has a different. See, because there's 2 revised copies in here. And on my revised copy, like the first one, which that's what I've been following along until this point. Mine is on a different one. Because the one that you have here is right here.
Okay.
But the ones that I'm reading off of show that they're both revised on the same day. They're both from August.
So there's 2 sections on funerals.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay, read yours to me.
Let me find mine again, that's on yours. In the event of a death in the employee's immediate family, a maximum of 3 standard work days leave will be paid to the employee. Time will be charged against sick leave. If the employee has not accrued the required amount of sick leave, they will have to take the remaining time without pay. A permanent part-time employees, this equates to 15 hours pay. Full-time employees and exempt salaried employees, this equates to 24 hours a pay. That says B, which is 1 standard work day, may be granted for attending funerals or persons other than immediate family members or for service as pallbearer. Time will be charged against sick leave if the employees has not accrued the required amount of sick leave that they will have to take the remaining time without paying. Then it breaks it down permanent, part-time, exempt salaried employees. And then it says employees must notify the town clerk's office when funeral leave is taken so that accurate records may be maintained.
That part's the same. So we have to make a decision as a board. Well, no, which employee handbook have we been making employees sign? Which are we using as
They're literally getting
current?
the same copy. Like,
Huh?
they're getting the same copy, like what I made you guys copies of. Like, that's what, I just pull it out of the book and make them a copy. I put a copy in there. It says on like the signature paper that you give them the handbook and have them read it and sign it and then return the handbook. But I've been giving them a copy for their own records. So they have one in their file and in their, like.
Right, but you
paper.
said that the two you have are different.
Well, I didn't realize until just now that there's two separate ones in here because it just says that it's revised August 14th. So I've been going off of this front one, if you want to call it the front one, because usually the stuff that I've had issues with and I've had to check on is just right here.
Okay,
So I've never had to go to realize that that's even an issue.
okay. So, on the agenda, adopt an employee handbook. We have to have one standard. We
Yeah.
can't use two different
Yeah,
handbooks.
yeah. That's why some of the stuff that, we've been addressing at meetings sometimes about the pay or whatever, that's why it's so messed up, like, we don't,
Okay,
there's 3 or 4
so
things that's in the book that.
on the
that's why.
second handbook is the one that we revised. When Karen was here, we did the math calculations on the vacation.
Okay.
So, on that second handbook,
I know that the Juneteenth has already been voted in as one, to recognize it as a federal holiday. That was done a couple of years ago. Does it need to be redone, like accepted, approved, or?
I don't remember voting on it.
Yeah.
Must have been drunk.
Well,
That's-
I
That's-
don't remember.
Maybe that's why I always had a problem with it, because it's not a federal holiday.
You know, I think it is now.
Yeah, it is, it's been adopted.
You know,
as a
the
federal
powers
holiday.
that be decided. You know, never mind, I'm not going there.
You actually sweetened the pot for me during my interview, telling me that we changed Juneteenth to off.
I did?
She did.
Oh, yeah. What can you expect, right?
I was like, oh.
Yeah, well.
Because it was shortly after they, approved it for like a federal holiday that we did it at town hall.
I remember when it happened, but I'm pretty sure it's federal. Could be.
You know, it's funny. Never mind.
Yes.
History. The history buff in me. Juneteenth was actually when the Republicans went down south and told the black people 2 years after the Civil War was over, 2 years after they had been emancipated, they went to the south and they told the black people that they had been freed 2 years ago, still. So, okay, so we'll have to adjust it.
Yep. Okay.
Any other recognized holidays will be at the discretion of the Board of Trustees. Employees required to work on the day shall be paid an additional 8 hours pay at the employee's standard hourly rate. Guess there's nothing, nobody's ever gonna have to work one of the holidays. Barring a total disaster. Okay, this is the one that gets me, 509. If an employee knows in advance that she is going to be late or absent, she should notify his/her supervisor so that arrangements can be made for someone else to do the work. If an employee cannot give advance notice, she should get in contact with his/her supervisor as soon as possible after the time but who is whose supervisor? Is that why we just do it a general text?
I've been told we've done it 2 different ways. We've had a board member at a certain point in time that was over a certain department, that like if we had questions or concerns or issues or whatever, we notified them. And I've also been told that as long as we can handle it, like schedule it with the other employees, make sure there's not a conflict, because since we're so small, a conflict of, like if Kenny's off, make sure it doesn't affect anything that's going on that day. And then just notify you guys of what what's going on. That's alright too. So,
Okay.
if there needs to be a policy set in place or whatever.
Sounds like that was just copied from somebody else's handbook, because it doesn't really apply to our situation.
Okay. Anything in discipline?
I don't think we do spanking anymore.
No. No boards and tolls drilled in them.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Okay.
802, use of town vehicles, and then it goes to 801, cell phone policy. And then 803,
Isn't 803.30?
nothing under 802.
You're right,
I think it goes from,
there is not an 802.
it goes from the 804 to 901.
Okay. How much did we pay Anthony? For too long?
You don't even know how many pages it is because there's no numbers.
What?
So we don't even know how many pages it is because there's no numbers.
Right.
This goes from like 704, 801, 801, 803.2, 901.
From 912. From 912 to 1000. I'm gonna start teaching my kids how to count this way. So, job scope of the utility operator. Does that need to be in the general handbook?
I think that more maybe.
Or
falls.
do we create a utility operator's handbook?
I think it'd be best to have a utilities operators handbook.
Just like the police department handbook?
If you want to bring me in another day during the week to work on typing that up.
Yes. Absolutely. So when we redid it, that's when we added in the petty cash policy. Because that's when Jessica was paying for hers and Danny's stuff out of petty cash.
What stuff?
Oh, all sorts of stuff. She took her kids to Tim's and fed them.
Alright, sorry, next.
It was interesting.
She bought gas,
Yeah,
maybe a little mint.
whatever, yeah.
Where are we?
All right. Policy procedure, and then we have some nefarious title of
We've-
utility clerk job description.
Yeah, and we've quit numbering at this point.
I don't know if these job clerk positions back here, I think that's maybe something that we typed up when we were going over. I don't know if they've been like properly accepted.
We adopted them.
Okay.
Yes.
I wish there was dates on some of these things.
We did, because I recognize a few of these things.
Well, here's the town clerk's job description, as if you had time to do any of that.
I don't agree with you if I'm to do that.
But we don't have a code enforcement job description.
No, we don't.
Or utility operator.
Shoot
Okay.
from the hip.
Make it up as I go
So,
along.
is there cause these are generalized employee. Discipline appeals, personnel records.
I think with the utility operator position, we were gonna send out the ORWA.
Huh?
I know we talked about sending out the ORWA
To write it from
to,
description.
for utility, operators, job position, duties, all that stuff.
So
It was a couple of years ago, but.
what we have in the code book has a utility operator description in it. Would that be something that could transfer over to this?
We'd probably have
I
to
think it should be
adjust
just an operator, standard operating procedures manual.
that.
Because I think what's been happening and what we've talked about is these new guys come in and we like, here you go. I don't have a clue. And then they're calling
So you need
people,
like an instruction book,
yeah,
policy, procedures, and what to do
Yeah.
and what their job
Yeah.
entails.
entails. Right? Is that something the RWA can provide?
I know we've talked to him before in the past, and so that they can help us pull something together.
I wonder. My phone actually worked in here a second ago.
So I think I could probably find something for code enforcement through either from
Well, now,
another city, or I can talk to some of the contacts I made and see if they have something they can send over. We can look at it and adjust if we need to.
And I would like water treatment, we don't have a water treatment center. Um, I think that's gonna have to be one complete meeting. I still have my water operator's handbook, but I know things have changed since then. He received his. If we sat down with that, because there's very little in those handbooks, you've got yours, so you
Yeah.
know, that actually deal with a town of our size with the water system we have. It's mostly the huge water treatment.
Yeah, the plants and stuff.
But include phone numbers for help. Include a map of the city for reading meters. A blank meter list.
where all the meters are. But I think our diamond maps will do a lot of that too.
Why aren't we using that?
Well, we are using that, however, it needs, some more detail in it. We had an appointment today with Karen Risley,
Uh-huh.
and when we were in our T-set meeting, Mike was still over there waiting for her, so I texted her and I'm like, hey, we still on for today? She was like, oh, I completely forgot. So Michael, he was here at 8 o'clock, bless his heart, like waiting for her, and she didn't even text me back until 9:40. So, when she gets here and we rescheduled for next week, she's going to finish putting the water lines on maps and kind of show him how to navigate that a little bit better. He's pretty techie too, so he'll pick up on it, no problem.
Yeah, he's pretty smart.
So we'll get there, it's just a slow process.
It's by your cut.
Okay, so you'll type it out
Yeah, Ken?
and, were you writing down changes?
I was not.
Okay.
No, she did.
Okay, and on this one I made some notes.
And even if I can just take what's there and digitalize it, get
Yeah.
it typed up in a digital copy, then she can go in and easily add and remove and change and anything that needs to be
Yeah.
adjusted.
You gonna, this is what you're gonna digitalize?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, take it.
But my thought
type it
process
up and
is
make a digital
here.
copy so we can easily modify it.
Okay.
We're not gonna be able to pull this off by the August meeting.
I don't think so.
So this needs to be on September meeting.
Okay.
That also gives you time to get those printers correctly fixed. But when you digitalize it, highlight the changes, even if it's just a numbering change.
Okay.
And I wish you could digitalize it in Google Docs so you could share it with all of us.
From the look of things, most of them are going to be changing. So it's the order on this is crazy.
It is. I wish we had better reception in here so that I could just bring my laptop. But that would be okay. Okay, so code enforcement's in the town code book. What chapter are you? Do we have an actual chapter for code enforcement? Abatements, where is abatements?
Depends on what you're baiting. So, if you go to nuisances, that's where you're gonna find, stuff on dilapidated houses, trash weeds, and junk cars.
That's comes like 25 Mercedes Benz and, you know, yeah.
Which no longer exists.
None of them are there. I think there's one left inside the barn.
And I actually made a copy of things with highlights, and that makes it easier for you. So this has got just the section on junk cars. This is the sticker that I use. And this is copies I made from the training course that I went through.
I was texted like 4 of these. I don't know how many you put out.
About 10.
Where did you date them? Because the pictures of the ones,
They're not dated. So
Let's
this was
see
just,
the-
this was just put as a kind of a warning, just to get,
but it says the vehicle must be removed or placed inside an enclosed building within 5 days. But if we're not dating them, and I mean, you could even write a date up here, but if we're not dating them,
and I can add a date to it. That's not-
then we're not serving the people in the town correctly.
Okay, I can put a date on
So
it.
you're
That's
to
no problem.
comply with result in removal and impoundment of this vehicle according to 1543.
I've got it here. It's highlighted. It's here.
I like your little tag, by the way.
Tag.
This,
Oh, thanks. It was one of the things that they suggested in the training course was to do door hangers and window stickers as kind of like a courtesy letter before you do an abatement.
which is how we used to do it, was an action letter, but I like this.
Just to get their
Oh, we still do
attention.
the letters, yeah. We just
But
have
I do want these, when you put them on it,
Put a date.
dated.
Okay, that's not a problem.
And then weed abatement, what do you do for that? A letter?
Yep.
How are we doing it now? Same as we used to?
Yeah, same as we used to, it's just, he does everything, like taking the pictures of the before, he'll type up the letter, get everything in it that he needs to.
She got some off.
Yeah, and then I'll send it off for him, and then I'll send the receipts on his desk. I'll make a copy of them, of course, for my PO, and then I'll give him the receipts and he'll file them.
Okay.
And
The
then-
only thing that we're not doing the same,
Here's a copy of, this is a house abatement letter, but it's similar to what it would look like.
because I know,
So this one's, it's got pictures attached to here. This is just a dilapidated house.
so the only thing that we're not doing that matches this is dating those.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
But on every agenda, every abatement was listed. So abatements and then the addresses.
And that's what we did talk about that, because I knew that was gonna be different, because what we did before is we would get abatements together and then present them to the board, and then the board would approve them to be sent out. But since Lex is only here one day a week. we
But it
decided-
still
well,
says that they have the right to
A hearing.
a hearing before the board.
We have, I think, one property that the one that we tried to condemn last year,
Uh-huh,
we're in usually the ones that he's been abating, it's been taken care of within 10 days.
right.
They'll just take care of
So
this.
we haven't had to go any
Stuff.
further, but the one on South First that we're gonna have to condemn, that we've been trying to condemn, that will have that process with it.
I've
And I
actually
think
got
that's one of the
here.
letters that you have.
Yeah. So there's one on Birch, one on First, another one on First, another one on First, so 3 of them on First and 1 on Birch. But these are houses that are,
Holy cow, this one is a whole,
well, that was one of the early ones I did, and when I
Uh-huh.
printed pictures, I printed each picture on its own page.
oh,
And
okay,
then I started
okay.
condensing down to like a single page or 2 pages, and shrinking the pictures. That's why that's like a big old giant bundle.
Okay,
But these houses have had notices for a while and they haven't done anything with them, so now we probably need to go to the next phase, which would be have a board hearing to decide what to do. The other ones, they took their own initiative and did something about it, so we haven't had to go that far yet with any of the others.
okay.
These
So,
these have all had several months and they haven't done,
I
well,
told them
some of them
earlier
have had
that
some
I would
months,
get
some
the
of them haven't.
information that Anthony finally got from the attorney in Stillwater on the condemn process.
uh-huh,
Because the next step, what we can do is we can, I believe in that letter, I haven't read it recently, but in that letter it states that the issue with the property and that he's got 10 days to contact us, and we've been evading him forever and we never get any contact back from him. But the next step is that we have to hang something on the house, we have to post something up in the paper, and then we have to wait a certain amount of, I think it's another 10 days after that, and then we can clean it up ourselves and then put a lien on that property.
Right.
And then after, there's a certain time limit after that lien as well. That if we choose to go to the condemn route, there's something else that we need to do, like another path or whatever.
Right.
Like another timeline that we need to, but that's what we're gonna have to do with that. Cause it has some issues in the backyard that needs to be addressed and the house is falling in.
Yeah.
Is that the Kevin Valley one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's this one. So we sent them out, I sent them out one in October and then another one in November, and never heard anything about it from them. So it's been several months, 6 months.
But I think
So it needs to probably have something done about it.
that if we're not gonna,
And I did tell them I'll get the stuff printed off that Anthony sent me a while back for the condemn stuff that we got from the Stillwater attorney, to make sure that we're following that timeline as well.
okay, but we have to follow, if they haven't done within 30 days, it needs to go on the agenda. Or we have to change this. I mean, we are not going to have legal standing.
No, I'm not against going by the code book, like I'm all for that, if it's like
Okay.
the code book to go by it.
Cause I don't mind changing it, but we have to do one or the other. And if we're hanging these, which I love, gotta be dated.
Okay.
So we hang those, and there's several on the stage now. So in 5 days, they don't do anything. What are we gonna do? Are we
They
actually
have-
gonna call the tow
That's
truck?
when we
Oh,
send the
okay.
letter, well, that's when aren't we gonna send the letter out, like after the 5-day warning, we're sending the letter out
Yeah.
as like a second attempt at contacting them?
Okay,
And then within that 10-day period, then they can go on to the next step, which is. the
And in that
possibility.
letter, it explains, or the old letters, I'm sure the new letters are the same, explains they have a right to appeal to
Yeah.
the board.
And it gives a timeline and a quote, it has the code quoted in there, like, you know, when it's stated, what their rates are,
well, they're on its own.
yeah.
Now, these-
And then those cars are taken care of though, they took care of them after like 3 days.
they do.
Okay, yeah, I was surprised at Sadie, she dumped them right away. Hey, on,
Yeah, most of the abatements have done, they've taken care of
Yeah.
them, so we haven't had to go to the next step.
okay, on page 15.3 in the code book. And this will have to go on the agenda to be voted on.
Which part? I know we have some corrections on B and C. Yeah.
We need to change those to Code Enforcement Officer.
Instead of chief of police.
Uh-huh. And where it says, or person appointed by the board, we need to add Code Enforcement Officer. Because we added the Code Enforcement Officer, but then we need to adjust this to show.
So there's probably other areas in here that needs to be adjusted to, because there's a lot of, basically everything I do, it says the chief of police does, so,
Right.
all throughout the book.
Well, yeah,
so,
once, all you have to do is search
Yeah.
for it.
So if you get those adjusted and present them, you know, just that section for yours.
Should I put it in a way where it says the chief of police or code enforcement officer is
Yeah.
able to do these things? So like it still gives the,
Yeah,
gives the
just
authority
in-
to the police still.
Hopefully someday we'll get back to having our own police department.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it right now.
So Who would I contact at Oklahoma Rural Water about?
About what? Apprenticeship?
Of water operators?
We've got an ORWA guy, Travis is gonna be at our next board meeting
Uh-huh.
in August. We wanna put him on the agenda to talk about that.
Specific?
I think we need to come up with our own specifics. You're expected to do this, this, and this. Because, I mean, basics, checking the wells twice a day.
Well, would that be a difference from job description and job duties, or job responsibilities? Like there's like the handbook part and there's the duties.
Yeah, I think we need to come up with an operator duties. Standard operating procedures.
That'll help Michael, or whoever is doing it, sure help a lot.
You checking the well twice a day, checking the lagoons when testing is done. You know, you do a section on testing.
And reporting.
Yeah.
Reading meters. Those are the kinds of things we need, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Because ORWA can give us some other stuff, but not fitted directly for our,
System.
yeah.
No, I think that's a good idea.
And we really need to seriously, now that things in the utility are starting to kind of calm down. Shut up.
He goes, what?
What?
We really need to seriously look at shut-off valves throughout the town so that
I
we
think
can.
Travis has actually been talking to, Michael about that.
I mean, we did it up on North Main, we got those, and we've got the one at Sandy's working. But we shouldn't have to turn the tower off every time.
Didn't he say something, Travis said something to Michael about that, like after, like, it does kind of calm down maybe September-ish or something? Because of all the issues that we were having, the water meters and getting the replacement
Right.
leaks, that maybe then they can go by and start putting more valve shut-offs at this end, so that they don't have to do that. And then they can also map them on that, diamond mapping as they go.
And if we can offset them,
Yeah.
why would they cover them with asphalt?
Why would they cover manholes with asphalt? Why would they do that?
Why?
They have a lot of questions for us. For example, when Travis was out here between the middle of last month and the first part of this month, we were very pointed in what we asked him to do for us. We wanted him to show Michael hands-on how to repair a leak and how to swap out some meters. Standard stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
Easy, straightforward. He came out here, we had one, he didn't actually help us with Treasures, that was Agra, but we had Treasures, Tim's, and 3 other just nominal leaks. Out of those, how many do you think they were able to fix?
One.
Tim's got a replacement, Treasure's leak got fixed. The other ones, this is a seasoned circuit rider with almost an A-class water license. Could not. I don't know what in the world was going on with those other meters, but he's like,
They were probably jobs.
it was bad. It was really bad. So he couldn't like show Michael how to even swap out a meter because they were so terrible. So
Who was terrible? The meters were terrible?
the meters,
No.
the lines, the piping,
Everything was-
everything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
What they were doing for that time is they would come in and there would be a patch and they put the patch there. Well, then it would start leaking up the line, so they put a patch. And then they didn't have the right kind of PVC. So they would step down from a 1 inch to a 3/4 inch. But then the next time they didn't have 3/4 inch, so they'd step it back up to a 1 inch. So you've got And then they go on Oklahoma Street, they go from PVC to PEX,
We
which
have
is the
grass on
flexible,
Right.
the black pipe. But then right in front of Weldon Knowlton's old house,
Mm-hmm.
they went under the road with the PEX, but they didn't put it in piping.
Shielded.
So every time somebody drives over that, you're smashing that PEX. Then it leaks up through the road, you have to dig it out. And then they would just put the little saddles on and clamp them down. So under that road is like 6 saddle, or was. They finally replaced it and put it in pipe. But that's what you're looking at. When you're digging up a line, that's what you're looking at.
It's gonna take some work.
Years of dumb stuff.
Dumb stuff.
And sometimes people that weren't.
So we gave him an easy job. Go out and hang the sign. Just go out and hang the no trespassing sign at the lagoons.
He bolted it and it fell apart.
The posts were
What?
rotten.
Then he hung the sign on?
He
No, he
was
tried to, he
unbolting
couldn't.
it.
That's what I'm saying, the post
Yeah.
fell apart?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he could stand out there and hold it.
He could. That was.
But we had
yeah.
a list of stuff for him to do, so we couldn't mess it up.
This is the kind of stuff like, so
The metal posts
Oh, no,
on
they're not
wooden.
wooden. They're wooden.
Yeah, old wooden posts.
where?
Out
At
of
the
the lagoons,
lagoons.
right, at the entrance of the lagoons.
It probably did. It probably just fell apart.
You know, he documents everything and videos everything, and he sends it to us, and we're just like, okay.
Yeah, that's 15 minutes.
We have metal pipe.
We do have metal pipe. We absolutely do.
And we have a sawzall back there.
All we need is a welder.
I got a welder.
Hey.
My dad has 2 or 3.
Yeah, he's got everything to access.
Oh man.
This was right on the front of my deal there.
Okay. Do you need to adjourn?
Number 4, adjournment.
I'm in
No, it's number 5.
Me too. All right, second.
I was like, what is this on my key ring? It's not even my key ring.
I'm not kidding about the metal pipe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
We can get like brackets. There's like a little bracket like U, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
That we might be able to use.
Um,
How big's the pipe?